Hello and welcome to Decorate It. My name is Mary and this is Wes and this is episode 11. This episode is the final one for the year. So we thought it'd be nice to just kind of do 2023, a year in review kind of thing. And I am sick. So this is one of the reasons why I am sounding so rough. But I think the first thing that I want to talk about is the expo beginning of this year. And the 2023 Expo.
The chaos that was the expo this year.
So in February of this year, Wes and I always go as the Southern Rod Builders, and we have in the past. This next one in 2024, we're actually going to go as the Decorative Studio.
You know, I've actually been going to that expo as long as American Tackle has.
Have you?
Technically speaking, yeah, since Charlotte.
What was the first year that you went?
Oh, God. Like...
Put you on the spot.
It was 2008 or 10, something like that, because it was before I started the business, and I started that in 2010, so it had to be 2007 or 8.
You've been going a long time.
Yeah, because I was in college when I started going with Pop.
And that was when it was in Charlotte, the first one that you went to,
Yep.
And then it moved around.
Charlotte, High Point, Winston-Salem, because you started going with us when it was in High Point, and we stayed in the Roach Motel.
Yeah, oh Lord, that's a story in itself. They, your grandpa had rented the place.
The 1 year we let him pick it.
1 year, and because we only live about an hour and a half away when it's in Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
And High Point's roughly about the same distance, a little bit longer. But that hotel was terrible. That hotel, as soon as we walked in, you literally could see roaches all over the place. I said, I'm not sleeping in that bed. And I requested, this was back when we were dating, which he probably thought, good Lord, she's a nut. But I was like, can we please go to Walmart? I will pay for like cheap comforters to sleep on.
And we left them there too.
I will not take these home. Like, this is terrible. But this past year in February, we had 7 kids in the booth. I knew of one that was coming back, which was Jillian. Jillian had been there the year before with me, and I kept in contact with her and her family since. And really good people, but I knew she was coming. But then another 6 kids came out of nowhere, and they all wanted to learn how to do wraps. And I remember we're in a 10 by 10 booth, so we put 6 kids in there trying to wrap. I only had 2 wrappers with me.
At that time, yeah.
At that time. And one of them, there was a gentleman from Southern, David Dysert, who he had asked if he could do a weaving demo, and I said, sure, not a big deal. And so he was on one of the wrappers. I had the other 7 kids, taking turns on the other wrapper that was available, and the rest of them were having to hand wrap in their laps. Like, it was insane. Absolutely insane. Plus, we have parent bodies in the booth, along with Wes and I, and then other people trying to get in and out of it to look at the rods, and it was total chaos. So this year, I was like, for the next year, I was like, we've got to expand. There's no way that I can keep doing this, because that was chaos. They all loved it, and it was really funny because I was having to just cut PVC, like, in the booth, yanking stuff out I had for demos, stripping it down, handing it to the kids, because I didn't have any extra blanks or anything. I just had all these random PVCs that I was using for like tension demos and stuff, and I was just cutting and handing and getting
Here's your 2-foot section. Here's your 2-foot section.
And everybody have fun. Like, it was crazy, but fun, but crazy. And Thread Central, that was the first time that Thread Central had come to the expo as well. And Dave did a ton of work trying to get seminar rooms set up with all of his recording equipment, and he recorded the entire thing. He just has not had time to, like, edit it down. Plus, he works a full-time job, travels all the time. The man is busy, and he's pretty much patched in on somebody's computer just about every night, helping them get visual wrap set up, too. So, yeah. But it was the first official launch for Thread Central to be there. It went really awesome. A ton of people spoke and taught and did a whole bunch of different stuff. Unfortunately, Thread Central itself will not be back this next year. But there's, Thread Central with Dave and I are still moving forward and still working on, like, getting content put out for teaching aspects and stuff like that. And I did a seminar for Thread Central, but I didn't do one for the expo.
Not last year, no.
Year before I did, and I felt like that was the best year ever. And then the 7 kids showed up, and I was like, well, this is an awesome year. It was just different because it was so much chaos. And then in February is when I won the People's Choice Award for my Yellow Sugar Skull, which I was very humbled that everybody voted I don't remember what Don said. Don said it was a very
It was
very
a
large
landslide.
landslide to me winning, which I just thought that was incredible. But then again, majority of rod builders that follow me on Facebook or had seen it, they were along with me for the entire journey. They saw how she started and evolved into what she became. So I feel like a whole bunch of people kind of fell in love with the entire project along with it. So I won, and I was very humbled, and I was a little tipsy when I got the awards, and my thank you speech was terrible. It
I
was,
still have the
like,
raw footage of that.
he's got the video, and I'm like, oh, don't ever let me do that again. Like, send me back or something, because I was like, woohoo, thank you, bye, and like just left.
Yeah, a little more than that, but
It was terrible. I was very taken off guard and was not prepared to win an award that night. So I wasn't even thinking that I needed to have something like practiced to just out there. Nope, I was just like in the moment, nervous, shaking, like thanks, like tipped out. But I did, because American Tackle does, when you win it, you also get a gift certificate. I handed the gift certificate to Jillian because I felt like a child could use it more than I could. And her parents started crying. I was like, y'all stop. Like, stop it. Because I'm going to start crying and then everything's going to get ugly. But that's just,
including your makeup.
you know, like the Joker coming out of there going, why so serious? But, but after the expo, we get back. I had a couple months to kind of get caught up.
Thereabouts, yeah.
And then in May, May Foley, the Jim Icing memorial event was held at Anglers Resource. And that was at the Party Barn. And that was the very first time. You, unfortunately, couldn't go with me that time. But I drove all the way down to Foley, Alabama. I stayed with a friend, Lori Bard, actually in Florida, which was about an hour away from the Foley event. Not too bad. Like, it was awesome to hang out with her and see her. And it was really nice that she invited me into her home. Super thankful. And she's a cool lady. But the event was awesome. I went down there to teach decorative wraps. I had a full, like, anywhere between 5 to 15 people around me during the entire day. That was nice. I got to meet a bunch of different people I've never met before. I tried crawfish for the first time. I'm just gonna be honest, not a fan. I tried it because I was there and I never had it.
I could have told you that.
I just not a fan. And I don't want to upset anybody that eats it all the time.
I will.
Like, ugh.
It's nasty.
But I also, Wes and I, obviously, we fish, build custom fishing rods, but we don't like to eat fish. We live 3 hours inshore, okay? So the only thing that...
I will eat fish when I'm at the beach.
And it's fresh.
And
right?
I have caught said fish. And I have prepared said fish. And I have cooked said fish.
Yeah, like it's fresh.
I do not trust a lot of people with my fish.
We went to a restaurant where they source their own stuff. And I actually had other people order for me because I was like, look, I'm here. I want to try something because to me, everything I've tried has been real fishy, just kind of nasty. You know, we're talking about places where it's frozen before it gets to us kind of stuff. And I had crab legs and
Triple
I had
tail.
triple tail, which triple tail is delicious. And the other one was grouper. I could have eat myself fat off of those. Like, it was delicious. And we also had a tuna. It was like tuna. It was like a tuna dip. I think like a smoked tuna dip. And
Was it tuna tartare?
I don't think it was tuna tartare. The event was awesome. I drove back at 9 hours. Got back home. And then I had a couple more months off.
We went to ICAST.
And then ICAST was next in July. And ICAST, this is the second time that we got to be there. Last year was our first time. We went down there with American Tackle. Always an amazing time at ICAST. I always feel absolutely just blessed, if you will, that I get asked to come and do demos while I'm there. And this year they allowed us to bring some rods that we had built, like 5 or whatever, to fit on the rack, because they only had one rack for us. The year before they didn't do that. And I brought some little demo wraps that I had sitting out on the thing. I took the autism rod that I was working on from Mark Krause and Tom Snyder. That's actually in the Autism Anglers
Drawing in 2 days.
Drawing in 2 days. The drawing finishes on Christmas, so if you haven't got tickets for that now, you're running out of time. And that went down there, and so all of that stuff just sitting on the table was conversation starters. You know, I always was picking at people because some of the guys walking by, they'd pick it up, and they're like, is this thread? And I'm like, nah, it's a sticker. You know, I just pretend that I'm wrapping this stuff to make it look more complicated, and I always get them laughing, and that's how we get into conversations, because a lot of people are nervous. Just they don't really want to interact. And ICAST is completely different than rod building events because most of the people at ICAST are there like for connections and
business meetings.
Yeah, and so the random.
And we're there to make you laugh.
Yeah, we're there to make you laugh. Random rod builder sitting at a booth, like they're really not too interested because you'll see them speed walking by, and if they make eye contact with you, I'm always like, "Hey, how's it going?" And if they keep on going, "Have a great day." I don't get offended by it, because I'm not I'm not here to see you, kind of thing, or you're
not
here
your
to see
appointment.
Me. I'm not your person. But I also had a ton of friends that came by that we hadn't seen in a year or two, and it was great. The downside, well, it's not a downside, but the side that I still am not used to is all the media in your face, all the cameras that get like put here. There was one point where everybody in front of me, you were in front of me too. You saw this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm rapping. I'm in my own little world. Okay, I am just rapping. There is a camera right here, and I see this light pop up behind me, and
I started recording,
and I thought, well, dang, now I can see, because I always bring a light with me to events because you never know what the lighting's going to be. It's always dark or, whatever. I always bring one just in case. And this light comes on right behind me. And I turn around and I about like face plant into the camera. It scared the crap out of me. And I think it was a girl that was filming, if I remember correctly. It might have been one of the guys.
That time it was a guy. It was while all the senators and all were at the booth. So they were getting snippets of what you were doing while Kevin was talking to all the senators and setting everything up.
Which I met all the senators, didn't know who they were. Kevin was just like, here, come talk to these people. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? All of the very important people in the state just sitting there having a conversation with them. Well, you could have given me a little bit of warning. He's like, wow, you did great. I'm like, because that's, you got to talk a certain way to certain people.
No,
like,
you don't.
Hey, I'm from South Carolina. Ignore the southern twang, but whatever. So, but I about ran into that camera, and it's, we had a good laugh. Like, that person about fell on their butt laughing at me because it legit scared me. And I was like, hey, I love the light. Can you hang out here all day? Because now I can actually see what I'm doing. But American Tackle won 2 awards this year. They won Best Component and what was the actual title? Custom Tackle and Components category. And the second award was
Best in Show.
Best in Show. So they came home with two awards from ICAST
for a product that comes out in January.
The Suka 2 complete carbon fiber handle. But ICAST always awesome. Plus the energy was super high from everybody. Them winning 2 different awards.
You had the opportunity this year to be able to walk around and actually meet other people in the industry and be able to talk to them about what you do, what they do, and how y'all can work together.
And it's actually really funny because during one of those meetings where I was talking to another lady,
Savannah
and I had a conversation, and she was like, there's different ways to get your name out there, so, or to help other people. And podcast came up during that conversation, and I was walking back with Wes because Wes is always accompanying me to keep me on tap because I get distracted or somebody talks to me, and he's like, hey.
You get very flighty.
I get something silver and
squirrel.
shiny. I will go right over there and get distracted. Most of the time, I just want to go right back to the booth and sit because I feel like that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be working. I don't really like to just walk around and just... I usually send you away whenever I get settled. Like, go find some cool stuff.
And then I can find you and I'm like, hey, you need a break.
And we're like, hey, you haven't eaten yet. Okay, yeah, let's go eat. Which, while during one of those trips around, you found that kids' lure set.
Yes. So there's a gentleman...
It's sitting right over there.
I think it's in Michigan or it's somewhere up that way. But we found that he sends you kits to paint your own lures for kids. It's all water-based color, and it has sealers and all this stuff in it.
There's like 6 of them in there, wasn't it?
But yeah, you can get a multi-pack. It's 5 or 6, all the hooks, all the swivels, everything you need to build the lure itself and get a kid to actually paint it and then go fish with it.
Which you got one of those kits while we were there because we thought that'd be great for the kids event, you know? And the next event we had was in September, which is
the kids event.
For the kids. And it was us inviting all the kids that were in the booth in February, all 7 of them, back to our house so that they had free reign in the shop. We got we only had 4. Yeah, we had 4 of the original 7, which I thought was pretty good because September's tricky because school's already started. I knew it was going to be a task trying to get, all of them back here. But Carly and Jared and their 3 came all the way from Indiana.
Yep.
And he actually fixed a barbecue, brought it down. The butts. Yeah,
barbecue
2 butts. Brought it down here and then got fresh Indiana corn.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Iowa corn. I'm sorry. Iowa corn, and brought it here so that we could eat. And we kind of had a potluck. I fixed the rest of it. He did all that stuff. It was so good. We're still eating corn.
We had to freeze a bunch of it because he made so much food. And it, kids, some kids will eat a lot. Some kids aren't going to eat a whole lot. And it was one of those days where
nobody was really
eating, So we just had a ton of the food left, and we froze it so that we can enjoy it. We're still eating corn. We're still eating barbecue. But it's fine because it's delicious. And then Jillian and her parents came down, and then we had our 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And they had free reign of the shop. We worked on grips. We did marbling. We did wraps.
Lures.
They did the lures, painting. They were free to run outside and go play whenever they wanted to. They did feather inlays. Justina Edwards flew in. Mm-hmm. She stayed with us. She wanted to help with the kids and stuff, and it was really cool to have this whole team. This shop was absolutely just buzzing with people doing stuff. But I was super happy that the crew that showed up here, because now I have more of an extended family at this point in time.
Right.
Because they're not just friends anymore. They have become family. They've been leveled up, if you will. And I have kept in contact with all of them. And they're all working on rods for February because they all decided they wanted to do Disney-themed rods, which I got to get back to finishing the Alice and Elsa rod for the booth as well. So, but they're working on, one of them's doing Scooby-Doo, another one's doing Black Widow, one of them's doing the Harry Potter build, and the other one is Yosemite Sam? No, the Roadrunner. One of those. I can't remember. It's one of those 2. So it was pretty cool to see them. I mean, one of Jared's boys, marbling expert, right after you taught him.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. It might have been the pain or something, but it just disappeared right after it set.
I think it was we didn't have enough setup time, first of all.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of let's hurry up and do this so that it can start drying. So we kind of rushed it a little, and it didn't get as thick as it should have been.
And it ran.
And then for some reason it stopped turning, and it just...
I think somebody cut it off, or turned it off on accident, but stuff like that's going to happen when you got a bunch of hands in the shops and bodies and bumping and stuff. And
it happens.
It was no big deal. But everything that they were working on in the shop, they got to take home, as long as it was travel. We warned them, don't put epoxy on something because you're going to be leaving soon. That's the only thing you can't do.
Basically, anything they wanted to try to start learning about, we tried to touch on.
Yeah, we tried to just make sure that we were focused on it. I had a lot of them doing wraps again. Jillian, I progressed her from just basic beginners to now we were focusing on tension and doing other stuff. And the conversation I had with her a couple weeks ago now, she started to burn cork. And I think that's just the coolest thing to see her just kind of trying stuff.
Yeah.
And her parents being 110% supportive of her. Lovely people. I love both of them, so... And then after the kids' event was the
right back down to Orlando.
We went right back down to Orlando for October for the Mudhole Advanced Rod Building class, which that was the first time Wes and I had been there.
Yep.
Blown away by the establishment. The warehouse was... I know that the place has got to be...
They better keep me away from the warehouse.
A well-oiled machine with how many orders they can pump out of there. And I know it's got to be massive for the inventory they carry. But until you see it, you can't actually envision it. It's just... And we touched base on this on a previous one, so we're not going to go crazy with talking about it. But I did 3 classes there. Mm-hmm. A decorative wraps, 1 and 2, basically. Just how to start the wraps. Getting into the 5th passes, packing tips, all that jazz, broken into 2 classes so it wasn't information overload. Because all the information getting into that 5th pass can be a little mind-blowing when you don't know how to do them. And so I wanted to break it up. And it worked really well because most people could retain most of the information that I taught them earlier in the day by breaking it up. And then both of those classes on Saturday. And Sunday I did my artistic grips class. And the way that they do these classes is it's Saturday I had 4 hours of teaching because you have a class A and a class B. So you have class A for an hour, and then you have B for an hour, and then you've got a break, and then you got A and B again. So it was 4 hours of teaching, 2 hours back to back. Same thing on Sunday, 2 hours because I just had the one class. And the artistic grips, I just went over everything that I've touched hands with up until that point. Now, obviously, I've been playing around with some different stuff since I got home because why not? And then, obviously, I did the filming down there for the Mudhole event they put in October, which was the monster bills that they did. So there was a little segment they stuck in there of me, making me look pretty good on camera, not doing too many ums during that presentation like I do on most of my stuff. Because I always make fun of myself. I always count how many ums did Mary say during the podcast. Everybody take a drink every time you say don't do that. You'll be wasted, and I'm not responsible. But in November, it was officially announced that I had become a Foundation Outdoor brand ambassador.
Woot woot.
Woot woot. It's been a crazy ride. Last year I got to be American Tackle's brand ambassador, get here. And now all of a sudden, American Tackle got absorbed with Mudhole into the Foundation Outdoor group, bought both of them and put them under the same name. And we are now here to December, the end of the year. Started a podcast. We're 11 episodes in. This is the final one for this year. Love that everybody's taken a liking to it. Really thankful for Southern, especially the last few episodes where I thought it'd be a great idea to stick photos of their work into it. Because
other people have different ways to do things.
Yes.
There's no one way, and that's part of what this podcast is about. Learning all the different ways to decorate it.
And as much as I play around in the shop, there is no way that I can do all of the things that you could possibly do in one go and or get perfect at it or perfect it in any way, shape, or form. So why not showcase what other people are doing? Because there's thousands of rod builders out there that do meticulous, beautiful work. They need a little bit. I would love to give them a highlight whenever I can. So that's one of the reasons why I like to showcase what other people do. It's kind of what the Southern Rod Builders Facebook group that we run is about. I do challenges so that everybody that enters into the challenges, whoever gets the most likes whenever it goes up to voting, their work becomes the cover photo. Because I don't want to put my stuff up there all the time. I know
there was a streak where you were entering, and it was just, okay, that's it.
I kept winning, and then now it's like, even if I do enter, even if I get the most likes, I go to the second person and put their stuff up there, and people's like, you didn't count right, and I'm like, I did count right. I'm just not going to keep putting my stuff up there, because what's the point? You guys are doing awesome stuff, too. One thing that we do need to talk about, and this is going over to Wes, so I can give my voice a little bit of a break. What is the product we're going to talk about this week?
The easiest thing you can buy for any rod builder. It's a gift card. You ain't got to pay for shipping. You ain't got to pay the taxes on whatever they're buying. You just give them a dollar amount and hand it to them and go, here, buy what you want, which is something I've told people lots of times. If you don't know what to get me, because I will make an Amazon list or I will make a wish list, and some people don't like to buy from my wish list.
Because you ask for the same kind of stuff all the time. I like a variety when I give.
So I tell them, get me money or a gift card. If you're looking for products to purchase and you get overwhelmed, a gift card is the way to go. A gift card to Mudhole is perfect for every rod builder.
Well, if you've got last minute gifts or stocking stuffer you're looking for, this is an instant thing. It comes right through your email.
Directly to you. You don't have to wait on it. You don't have to.
It's not getting shipped.
Anything. It's directly to your email. You can print it off at your house and go, boom.
Mm-hmm. And you've got, actually last night, so Wes and I always do a Secret Santa with the Southern Rod Builders group, and people have the option to send in something. We usually just say like a $10 cap, that way, because they're shipping it and all this other stuff.
It's Secret Santa.
Secret Santa. Obviously, if you spend more, I'm not going to be upset. If you spend less, I don't really care either. It can be anything you made, anything you buy. You can send money, whatever you want to do. And one person actually sent a $50 gift card that was for Mudhole.
Yep.
So... and it's sitting in my email to be transferred to the individual that won it.
It's the easiest thing. If you don't know what to get a gift card.
Or somebody that's looking to get into rod building. Send them a gift card. They can get a starter kit and put some money towards it and all this other stuff.
Yep. So. Then they can call in, say, hey, I'm just starting out. I have $50 gift card or $25 gift card or $20 gift card. And the guys there can walk them through, hey, this is what you can get for that. This may take more. Mm-hmm. Especially need to thank Foundation Outdoor Group. They have helped us tremendously this year. with everything we've been trying to do as far as growing and expanding. And
they've been a major support. Anything I have questions about, left call. They will answer my questions, give them time and day. If I am, like we started talking about doing giveaways and stuff, and they were like, I'm here for it. Yep. And, but they have been a great asset and support system for continuing the education line of things that we are looking to do and to reach other people and to help them.
Expo 2024.
Expo in 2024. So here's the thing.
What to look forward to.
We are planning on doing. Instead of the Southern Rod Builders coming, because now I'm going to make it the Decorative Studio. Because the Decorative Studio
encompasses everything.
Encompasses my business, the Southern Rod Builders, and the Women's Rod Building Alliance. And I felt it was better to put the Decorative Studio there and have the Southern Rod Builders banner and the Women's Rod Builder banner as well. Which, fun fact, you guys will see it at some point in time. I just ordered banners from Mudhole. Didn't know if you guys knew that they did those or not.
We didn't. We went down there and were like, if you have a wholesale account, we do these banners for you.
I had no idea.
So, what do you mean you do them for? We just make them for you.
Mm-hmm. So they're actually in the mail. I should be getting them soon. Yeah, I was like, are you serious? So I'm going to be getting a Women's Rod Building Alliance banner so I can retire this little ghetto one that I put out there the first year because we didn't have a logo, we didn't have a design. I was just like, hey, check us out on Facebook. So there was no kind of nothing behind it. And the Decorative Studio is getting a logo or a banner for once. So both of those are coming in. So that's how that booth's going to have. It's going to have all 3 banners in the booth so that, recognizable basically. And I okayed it with Tom. Tom's fine with it because I own all of it basically. And we're going to have 2 booth spaces. So instead of one little tiny 10 by 10, it's going to be 2 10 by 10 by 10 stuck side by
20
side.
By 10.
And 20 by 10. And I'm going to bring at least a 6-foot table or rent a 6-foot table. One of the two, depends how much time I have, so that I can have multiple wrappers. I plan on having between 6 and 8 available for people to sit down and wrap on. Stephen Wan is even going from Fugu Rods. If you don't know him, amazing guy. Also get cork from him.
Cork for Us supplier in the U.S.
Cork for Us, really cool dude. He's bringing 2 wrappers for me, we're just using the head stuff, like where the
first section of track.
First section of track. I'm not bringing the entire thing because I don't have room for all that. But I'm going to be able to have 6 to 8 people being able to sit down, so that I'm not having all these people do all this stuff in their hands.
Or stand.
Or, stand. They can,
But you'll be able to actually sit and
work
sit,
on
stay,
it.
and work.
We're going to have a couple demos at the booth, maybe 2. I'm probably going to have to cap it at 2 unless Wes does something else, because Wes is going to do a marbling demo so he can show people how he does his marbling.
You're not going to be there half the time.
I've got 3 seminars now at this point. Tom has come back and asked, hey, can you do a 3rd one? And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to teach stuff, but when am I going to be at my booth? But I'm going to be doing 2 different ones on grips. One's going to be the basic EVA inlay, the starter to how to get started doing EVA inlays. And I'm going to try to do it step by step in the seminar. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, if I'm going to end up bringing the bandsaw or if I'm going to stage it with different, pieces of this is where you go and stuff.
I think I would stage it.
I've got to figure it out because, carrying all this equipment, I can't completely pack up my entire shop to take to the expo. I just don't have the room for it. But I've got that one. I've got the artistic grips again. He liked that idea. So I'll be talking about all the stuff I've done. Plus, I've added on new ones, so there'll be new content from people that saw it at Mudhole. And then I'm doing a shading class. And hopefully he doesn't ask me to do any more, because I hate to tell him no, but I got to be at my booth sometime too. So it's going to be fun. And Jared, I absolutely will call on UNC to help.
Oh, you're definitely helping.
Assist,
sir.
Especially when I step away so that Wes doesn't lose his mind.
You just hadn't been asked yet. You're definitely helping, though.
We're going to give you 2 bottles
didn't
of
know
Victor. Because, obviously I hope your kids are in the booth 100%. So, and then around the back, I'm going to have all the stuff that I'm going to have for sale. The thread that I was selling is coming. I've got a case of real seats that needs to go. I'm going to have some new product that's going to be showing up. I haven't spoke about it other than just mentioning it tonight. It will be there as well. It's still in testing. And some other cool stuff's going to be there. So the booth's going to be really fun this year.
It's going to be hopping.
It's going to be hopping. Hopping and rapping. Rapping and hopping. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll come up with something. But it's always better, in my opinion, to sit down and do hands-on stuff than it is to have somebody speak at you about how to do it. Because, yeah, I can tell you all day long how to wrap a diamond, but a lot of times people overcomplicate stuff because they don't know how to do it. Case in point, my husband. Case in point, myself, when it comes to programming things. Like, the connection, this is the reason why we work so great together, because the stuff that he's like, that's easy peasy, and I'm like, it's breaking my brain. I can't do it. And stuff that I'm like, it's easy peasy, and he's like,
whatever.
I've already signed off, like, 2 sentences in. Like, I can't. So it's kind of great to have a team effort. Yeah. But 2024, we've got the expo coming up in February. I will be going back to ICAST in July.
Turn around April. Foley event is coming back.
Yep. We've been asked to go.
It's being modified this year to where everyone is pretty much going to be invited, from what I'm being told.
And it's in April, right?
By the person in charge, Mr. Falconer, that he's going to try to invite all manufacturers, all components people, all parts people, and supplies people, be it Mudhole or Gen 4 or Lamaglass or anybody that wants to come and be there, he wants them there.
Yeah, and all rod builders are invited to come as well. He put an event out the other day.
Yep.
On the, what was it, the Mastering?
I think it's the Mastering Rod Building.
His podcast, basically, group that he's got. But there'll be more information about that, and that's in April. Mm-hmm. And then we are also going to be going back to Mudhole again for their advanced custom rod building classes.
Some other classes that you have to teach.
Got some other classes at other places, various places across the states that I'm going to be teaching at too. So it's going to be a fun year. I'm probably going to be doing more traveling this year. But Merry Christmas, guys. We love you. Y'all have a great Christmas. Happy holidays, because we won't be back until January.
Yep.
Happy New Year. And I think that's a wrap for 2023.
We appreciate everyone watching and tuning in. And until the next episode.
Bye.